Welcome everyone to our second webinar Wednesday for the Young Professionals of Augusta. It's May 6th, 2020, and we are super excited to continue on with the series and just get to engage with professionals in the area in a variety of fields, and especially tonight with Kigwana Cherry, who really does transcend several barriers and sectors of town, and is really just involved across the board. So we're so excited to hear from you in general, also about life post-COVID. I'm going to start with just a couple quick reminders and points. So for safety and security, we had you register for the meeting. So thank you for doing that. Trying just to keep it as secure as possible, but keep it open for as many viewers as we can. And I'll be moderating tonight. Each meeting will have a YPA board member moderating to make sure that any questions or discussions happen, and also that it's just as safe and secure as possible. Tonight, Kigwana is going to speak for a bit, and then if you have any comments or questions, please raise your hand over in the participant section. Or add something in the chat. We'll make sure that we have that back and forth going on. So for YPA, we're just thankful that y'all are joining us tonight. So we've been around since 2007. This is our 13th year in operation. We have Sean Franham, one of our quintessential originators, here on the call. So thank you for that, Sean, and some of our board members now. We are involved with young professionals from ages 21 to 40 in the CSRA. Our pillars include social networking, professional development, which is primarily what this is, but also some networking and then some community outreach as well. We do a variety of monthly meetings, which we're also going to be transitioning online for a bit. More information in our newsletter, which I'll tell you about. We'll have a webinar Wednesdays and some other engagement points with David and our different socials and ways that you can just be involved. So we have our website at ypaugusta.com. On Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, we are at ypaugusta. And then you can also now find us on YouTube, which is also YP Augusta, and we'll be uploading all the webinars there. If you want to get involved, sign up for the newsletter, especially since we're sending out a huge one this Friday with a lot of really great information. Again, ypaugusta.com will have that information. Then we have a place where if you're interested in joining, you can do that. And also reach out to Jacob Bigpen, who's on here, our membership chair. Also a place if you want to sponsor the organization and help us in that way. And we'd love to just chat with you further. And then for webinar Wednesdays, again, every Wednesday at 7 for the foreseeable future, we will be hosting these with some influential members of the community. Again, that newsletter will keep you connected to that, and we'll also be sharing on social media. Stay tuned for a lot more goodness. Next week, Susan Everett, the Executive Director of the Red Cross, is here on the call, but she'll be speaking next week. We have Philip Weissner from Ubora Coffee Roasters coming up, Jonathan Davis, who I believe is here as well, who has a storied history both in news media and in community development and in business. We have Carla Leeper, who manages operations at AU, and just a lot of others that we have waiting in the wings or finalizing details with. So we're so excited. And for Kigwana Cherry, you've got a really storied resume and a lot of different credentials that I tried to put there for you, but would really love it if you could just kind of introduce us to you and then let us know what's going on and what you've got to say.
Grandma Shirley and I came here.
Kig, you're muted.
Oh, there we go. I'm sorry. No, I'm saying thank you. I had this PowerPoint I'm going to share, but it's more to keep me on track. And it's a bunch of pretty pictures. So let's see, is it doing it? Are y'all seeing the PowerPoint screen? Oh, yeah, there it is. All right. I'm just going to do it this way. I'll make it real easy on myself. So, hey, everybody, how y'all doing? And all right, my name is Kigwana Kigg Cherry. Uh, yeah, I do a lot of stuff. The first thing is, like you saw on the flyer, I am a project manager. I'm a construction engineer for NIKA Solutions. So right now I'm actually out on base. My specialty is healthcare construction. So I'm overseeing the new blood donor center that's being built, not just down the street from Eisenhower. So if you go out there just after you pass the first entrance to Eisenhower, you get to the second entrance where you can get into Eisenhower. Just beyond that, you'll see a brown fence, and that's where their new blood donor center would be. Excuse me. Now, what most people know me for is for doing music. I've been doing music for years. Just moved back. I'm originally from Augusta. Just moved, not just moved. Been back in Augusta now for about 6-7 years. Since then, hooked up with Karen Gordon. Started working Garden City Jazz as a logistics coordinator. And then in 2017, I started my business, which is Pop-Up Augusta, where we do pop-up dinners and concerts all around the Augusta River region. You don't know where it's going to be until 24 hours in advance. We've done things like we've done courses on the course, which you see on the video behind me. That was one that we did last year for Masters. It was a 5-course meal on the 18th hole at the Patch. And you got to play against actually Augusta. We have a PGA Pro right here in Augusta that is also that also does lessons at the Patch. So, you know, I always tell people Augusta is great, and people don't realize how great it is, but I do. We've also done mimosa crawls are always a hit during the summertime. I will be working with YPA on some future events once, you know, COVID is lifted and we can go out and touch each other and have good time. But I want to get into this real quick. Don't want to hold you all long. I started thinking about this because my title was, hey, there's life beyond COVID. Trust me, I know a guy. Well, I'm that guy. And the reason why I say I'm that guy is because as soon as all of this whole thing hit, we were cool. It's okay. They went down about 250. You can have 250 people. Then it went down to 50 people. And I was like, okay, I'm still good because pop-up events, you know, it's only about 30 people. I mean, that's what we make it as a small, intimate setting. But then by that Sunday, it dropped to 10. And I was like, okay, this is now starting to hurt my bottom line. And then it pretty much became 3 and, you know, businesses shut down, all of that kind of stuff. So we cried a whole lot, especially with Masters Week coming up. So that whole entertainment side of me was pretty much gone. My entertainment revenue was gone. And I was just like everybody else. I said, well, what can I do? What is there to do? How can I recoup funds? Or, you know, how can I be still be a philanthropist and whatnot? And that was when I went back to, as I was putting this together, I went back to my presentation with 6x6. And I have some of the slides from there, but the reason why I went back to that is because you hear so many woe is me stories and whatnot, but I think this is like the time where it's like, okay, we got through the hurt part. Now we need to start building. We need to start creating. We need to start making moves. So part of this, I always tell people, I say, imagine like Peter, be fearless like Scrappy, and take chances like Frizzle. And these are the secrets of how everyone's like, how did you come up with stuff like you're creating things amid all this chaos? And it's like, hey, you know, you have to get out there and create, which is, you know, you have to imagine something. You got to think something up. You got to be fearless, and you got to be willing to take that chance, whether it's going to be good or bad, but at least you'll see the fruits of your labor. So I always tell people, you know, imagine like Peter, when you were a kid, Peter Pan, you always could just dream. Nobody stopped you from doing anything. When I was a kid, I said I wanted to be a Ninja Turtle. I wanted to be an astronaut. And I wanted to sing like Pavarotti. And so far I got 1 out of the 3. So I think I'm doing good. But we have to get back to that, even in a time like this when it seems like everything is going and everything is, you know, bad, chaos, ambiguity. But this is the time where we have to start honing in together, even as young professionals, that we start looking at what can we do together? What can we do for our own businesses? If you work for a corporate business, what can you do to assist that business? a lot of your mom and pops and whatnot don't have all the technology. So now they're learning the technology, being forced to learn the technology. I started myself, the church that I play for was very behind on technology. And it was like, well, what can we do now to have service? And I said, well, let's just try a Zoom call. Everybody can chime in. We can set it up this way. We can hook up stuff to the board. And now it's like, it's an eye opener where it's now it's, well, what else can we do with this technology? How else can we do this? And they're, I mean, completely on board, which makes me very excited that they realize that we have to move forward. I always tell people, be fearless like Scrappy. It's scary. I can't even lie to you. It is scary to be in a situation. For me and Karen with Garden City Jazz, we added up everything from the first time that when everything started shutting down up till May 1st, we canceled 69 different either events, bookings, or our own gigs. Collectively, we had 69. And actually, I think now we're at officially 70 because I just canceled another one for June. But up till May, and we had 69 different events that were canceled. So think about it from, I mean, a lot of these business owners where somebody just pretty much said, okay, you have to shut your business down. And it's like, well, how can I put food on the table? Or how can I continue to go? I mean, it's good when people have multiple streams, and make sure you do have multiple streams of income so you can subsidize, but it does start to tighten those dollars up still nonetheless. And especially with Masters Week, I mean, of course, everybody knows Masters Week, you know, that's our time to shine. So, like I said, we got through that scary part and then started get to the point of saying, hey, we need to create some things. So with going through and doing some things, I always tell people, be fearless, like, take chances like Miss Frizzle. Miss Frizzle always said, take chances, make mistakes, and get messy. Well, this is the time to take chances and make mistakes and get messy. And so these are some of the chances that I just took just in life, or how I am now, where I have my band, the Lady and the Gents. We took a chance and only did one show. We were only supposed to do one birthday party, which was Ty's birthday party. And from Ty's birthday party, we ended up being in a band together for 3 years. Through those 3 years, the first year after forming, 2018, we won Best of Augusta, Best R&B Band. Then 2019, we won Best R&B Band and Best Jazz Band. But if we never took that chance just to go out there and do it, we would have never been where we are now. And selfless plug. I want to plug this real quick. Best of Augusta is open right now, so make sure you vote for us again for 2020, Best Jazz Band and Best R&B Band. Thank y'all very much. Pop-Up Augusta was a chance. It was an idea of just wanting to do a pop-up party at my house with a band on my deck while everybody was around the pool and whatnot. And now it turned into a business that's been running for 3 years. Wood Tribe Orchestra is my other band. That's what I was playing earlier. Wood Tribe Orchestra is my band. We're scattered from Cincinnati to Florida, and we traveled Europe. Last year we played Arts in the Heart. And, but it was, again, taking a chance. We started out in college. We were broke college students. And we said, we're going to take this chance with our lead singer and follow her with her dream, which flourished to, we opened up for Layla Hathaway. We have our own album that's on Spotify and iTunes, Ingrid Wood and the Wood Tribe Orchestra. She also Ingrid has a song out that's been out for a while on Queen Latifah's album. And we've literally been able just to flourish from taking that chance. Garden City Jazz, I love Karen because she always pushes me to push that next button. And we play around and we call each other. She says, I'm her boss. She's my boss on some days. So we just interchange that role. But you have to this is the time to really start honing in and taking that chance. Take the chance on, and I'm going to show you a couple of things I did to take the chance, and you'll see exactly what I'm talking about. So the first thing I did was overheard Augusta. Can't go anywhere. I've literally turned my living room and dining room, which is like one hall. I've turned it into a rehearsal space, a studio of sorts, where I had people like Travis Shaw came in. to perform before. We've had, I can't get my stuff right. Oh no. Oh, here we go. Okay, I got it together now, y'all. There we go. There we go. There we go. And boom. So I'm not going to play the sound or anything, but this is what we did with Overheard Augusta, where I had different artists come in, making sure that we stay in the guidelines of what was given, less than 10 people. This was pre-social distancing where the 6 feet was now the new rule. So we just got together and it was an interview with artists. I was able to do a Cash App where persons were able to Cash App and support the artists and give them that platform. My blessing was that I have a regular job and I'm not a full-time musician, but I know I have plenty of friends that are full-time musicians where they're not getting anything right now. And even though we have different government subsidies and whatnot to assist, it helps a little, but it's still not in comparison to what the person would have made during that time frame. So anytime that you can, and that was our big thing, was how can I create a platform for musicians and plus myself that we have to change into this new norm of what we can do. The way Overheard Augusta came about, it was just going to people and saying, hey, I want to do a thing. I prayed about it. I had a Trey from Deuce Media and Ahmad from Vidipop. Also had a J Soul, that's with a Tune Freaks out of Atlanta. He's also running another a world podcast. And I just said, hey, look, I don't know how this is going to work or how we can do this. This is what I'm planning. This is what I want to do. And without question, outside of when and what time do you want to start, that's all they asked me. And I was so grateful for it, to where they were willing to come in, bring their know-how, and even to help me understand how to run live streams. I was like, I know audio visual, but live streaming and what you can do and can't do, they just came in and did it. And that was that community. And that's why I'm saying that this is the time for us to really come together and start creating new things. I keep saying create because I really want to, that's my whole thing to drive for people now. This may be a new norm for God knows how long, but at least, even though it is a new norm, we can always adjust. We always adapt. You know, that's the nature in us to adapt. All right, going back over here. Some of the other things I did, because I like to have a little bit of fun. I started a garden in my backyard. So it was fun to have, be able to talk and hang. And then I was like, well, then let's start a garden. I've done a garden before, but I got time on my hands. I cleaned my pool. I pressure washed. I started working out some more. Now it was like, now I have the time. I have no reason to say, I missed my workout. So I started working out, and thanks to COVID-19, I'm 30 pounds down. So that's all. I mean, it's always something to do. This is another project I did during COVID. I was had a friend that's opening a new dance studio, and she needed a wall done. I said, well, I got a lot of time on my hands versus sitting at home, and I'm going to be in here by myself building this wall. So I started building her a window wall. It's not complete yet, but it'll be complete probably by this weekend, adding a door and whatnot. I even started taking a class at FAU. FAU had a free hospitality and management certificate. And it wasn't, you're not getting any college credit for it, but it gives you that know-how, that something that you can understand. And since I do deal on the entertainment side with a lot of hospitality and whatnot, I said, hey, I can go and take this class. So I'm doing a class at FAU now, finding something that I never thought about doing. This was another one, having fun. We decided that we wanted to meet up. So wanted to go to, not Village Deli, Villa Europa. And I said, ooh, I got an idea. I got a little table. We put the table on the back of the truck. And we were outside of Villa Europa, ready to have dinner, because you want to have that interaction, but we made sure that you weren't touching, you had your face mask, had gloves, but it was still that human interaction that made it fun. And this is those changes to that new norm of what we can and cannot do to get people to still want to go out, to get people to still want to support local business. I've tried my best every time. I mean, usually I already go and support local business because I always go to local restaurants more than anything. But specifically during this time, I made it a thing where if I'm going to order out, I always make sure that it's always going to be it's going to be a local restaurant. Um, some of my favorites, Village Deli. Village Deli has a gallon margarita for sale. Y'all should check that one out. Village Villa Europa still does their deliveries. That's one of my favorite places to go to. So, and there's a lot of other places out here that are doing delivery. They're doing to go. So make sure that you always, support those restaurants that we have. These were just a few. I was just putting some websites and whatnot. I did this is popupaugusta.com. You have gardencityjazz.com. Also, I'm on the board for the Great Augusta Black Chamber. If you would like to be a member, make sure you go on there. But overall, like I said, this is, and my last thing is just, like I tell you all, this is the time to create. This is the time to, we have to get out of the woe is me point, because whatever money that you thought you had or whatever money that you missed out on, it's not there. So we have to start learning how to adjust. And it's going to be a big adjustment. It's going to take time, but we can have a lot of fun while we're adjusting. And cheers.
Awesome, Kig. And so now we're going to open it up for questions. I know Ingrid Tutt. Thanks for joining us, Ingrid. She manages special events at Augusta University, and she's just curious kind of how someone starts a business like yours. And I know that you have hands in several, so how does that entrepreneurial spirit happen? How do you do it?
Really, it's coming up with a plan. The first thing I drive home to people is a business plan. Even if it's just a skeleton of a business plan, it might not be a hard pressed, well thought out with, you have, your return on investment or whatnot, but, have a plan that you want to go into. And I would say surround yourself with like-minded people that see your vision, that can understand your vision. Not necessarily they're going to agree with you on everything, but as far as the big scheme, they get it. And don't be afraid. I love the people that I work with because I can have an idea that I think is a great idea. And they'll say, nah, Kig, that's not going to work. And it hurts a little, it stings. But then you start to think about it, it's okay. But it's not just saying that's not going to work. It's, I see what you're saying. That might not work, but how about we try this? And when we do that, that's what makes it so, extravagant. And then pulling the resources, pull the resources that you need. I don't pull in people because it's like they're my friend, I'm gonna pull them in to work with me. I pull them in because they have a know-how that I don't have personally that can enhance on everything that I'm doing. Like the Overheard Augusta, pulling in those guys that have done live streams, videography, and they're professionals in their own right. It allowed me to learn to where I could do smaller ones on my own. But at the same time, that was another worry I didn't have to worry about and research for weeks on end, especially because, time is money. So I had to get things going. But specifically for Pop-Up Augusta, we are expanding. If you all know anybody in any city that wants to do anything, I am for it. Just started working with a partnership to expand to Atlanta and finalizing for Aiken, as we did an event in Aiken last year as well.
That's awesome. And I think, Sean, did you have?
I did. Kig, first off, thank you for all you do, man. Y'all do a great thing in Augusta, and it's much needed. My question to you is, you've probably heard that our Fifth Street Bridge is going to be turning into a pedestrian bridge in the near future. And I think it is an awesome opportunity. I think between you and Karen, put your minds together and see what we can do to make something magical on that bridge. And not only that, I think that if you were to come to the commission with that plan, I think you would probably get some financial support to make that happen. The government doesn't need to be the lead entity in it for many reasons, as you can imagine. But you know, it's just a huge asset that we're about to have, and I just think, you know, music on water. I mean, it's just a magical thing, and I'm hoping that, you know, you and Karen will at least, you know, look into kind of coming before us in the near future with some kind of plan. I know that David had some plans as YPA, you know, or I know it was Augusta University, you know, they had some plans way back. It didn't come to fruition, but I think, you know, you and Karen, you're well respected, you're well known, you have a following. Like, I think having a key entity like yourself come before us with a plan on whether it's a series, whether it's a one big thing nonprofit, whether it's a homeless event, you know, I don't know, the sky's the limit to raise money or not, but I hope that y'all kind of consider that in the future.
Oh yes. Well, you know, me on the construction end, I always like to try to keep up what's going on in Augusta, just to see where, because ultimately, you know, want to break out and do my own thing on the construction end. So I always follow it and see. But yeah, we've been talking about it definitely, and I'll definitely be in touch. That I think that's perfect for us. So you'll be hearing from us soon.
All right. Thanks for all you're doing. Appreciate you.
Thank you.
I love it. Webinar Wednesday, bringing the community together and hopefully creating a whole new space. I have a question, and mine is, I think, relevant to professionals, young and old. So especially having your hands in a lot of different projects, and like you said, you want to keep revenue streams coming from different places. So how do you, especially where there's a certain 9 to 5 and then other responsibilities that still get your time, how do you manage that?
Very high-end time management. Because it can get tough sometimes. There's some days that I could literally be up in the morning, you know, 5:30 in the morning, and I'm not back down until you know, 11 or 12 o'clock that night. So I make sure that I prioritize. There's certain things I know that have to get done. There's some things that, well, I don't have to be there, or if somebody wants me to come to an event and I know I can't make it because I have that priority, then, you know, I might send somebody else, or, you know, I'm honest with people where I can say, you know, I'm not even going to tell you I'm going to try to make it. I'm not going to make it. I think that's better for me to tell you I'm not versus you thinking that I stood you up or anything. But that's really it. I started figuring out the, you know, the heavier days from the lighter days, and just each day I'm going back over my calendar, and having a team for everything that I do. I love a team environment. When you have that synergy going on, it's all the weight is not just on you, and somebody can take a task and run with it. I love it when somebody else can just take a task, like say, hey, you got this, good, and I don't have to even look at it. I had that to happen. We did a speakeasy burlesque pop-up. It was so cool. We were at Lachat. To get in, you walked in Lachat. Lachat had a whole nother event going on, and we were in the actual real speakeasy space that was owned by the Toomey brothers agent during Prohibition. But when you walked in, you had to find the lady with the red dress. They took you to a secret door, and at the secret door, you had to get the password, which was Archibald Butt, like the Butt Bridge. But what I'm saying to that one, I just want to describe that because that was one of my favorite ones. But I wasn't even there. I was singing at a wedding in Atlanta, and I had a whole event that was going on down here, and I didn't have to be there because I had a solid team of people that were willing to make it happen. And that's, I can't say it enough. That's what I love about it. Teamwork makes the dream work for real.
That's awesome. Anybody else have questions for Kigg? All right, so any closing thoughts, any wisdom to impart, some jokes to share, or just something that you want to leave us with?
I think Shauna Sean and Brandon have that covered on the jokes. If you need a good laugh for a day, you go check our commissioners' Facebook pages. The dad jokes are great.
They are so funny. I read them every day. Go
Yes.
Sean and Brandon. Thank you, Kig, for coming and doing this.
Oh, I appreciate it. Thank you for having me. Make sure you all register for Pop-Up Augusta, because once we can start hanging out again, it's going down. Gonna have a good time. Want to open up with some different and new different events that we had planned for this year. So want to start with a big bang.
Some white parties, some mimosa crawls, some mixology and mixtapes.
Mm-hmm.
Good
Yep,
stuff.
yep.
We can't wait.
Yep, and there'll be some exclusive events just for YPA members as well.
Awesome stuff. Thank you so much. We appreciate you and your time and your input. And we look forward to seeing everyone next Wednesday at 7. So we're going to have Susan Everett, Executive Director of the Red Cross, and she's got some big shoes to fill and got to follow up on Kig, but we're looking forward to it. And thank you again to all of you for your time. And we hope that you'll check into YPA and that we'll get to engage with you in the future. Thanks.
Thank you.
Thanks, everybody.